Hi, Michael Yardney here, and welcome to our weekly Rich Habits, Poor Habits video webcast with Michael Yardney in Australia and Tom Corley in the United States. Hello, Tom.
Hi, I'm glad to be back. Michael, how you doing?
Good, thank you. Last week we started to talk about the beliefs of wealthy people following on from your study of rich people and poor people. And we discussed the concept that rich people have different beliefs which lead to different habits. And we went through a few of them last week. For those who didn't watch the video, there's a link at the bottom of this webpage where you can go to last week's video. But Tom, I've got the list of beliefs here. So I'd like to go through a couple more if we could this week, please.
Yeah, be happy to.
Now, last week we discussed a bit about how the wealthy people recognize they've got to continuously learn, that they're responsible for their circumstances. They're the pilots of their life, not a passenger. They recognize that money and wealth are good and it's not wrong to become wealthy and that there's enough wealth to go around for everybody. And we also discussed the concept that they believe they can solve their problems. But one of the things that you recognized in your study was that wealthy people also didn't believe in luck. They recognized they could create their own luck, Tom.
Yeah, and so what I found out, which was very interesting, is that wealthy people have a very different definition of luck. They believe that if they pursue something they're passionate about and they're persistent, that even a blind squirrel is going to find a chestnut every now and then. And so they continuously pursue their dream, and they believe that eventually opportunity luck is going to visit them. Now, poor people, they believe the only way you get wealthy is by random good luck. You win the lottery, somebody that, a wealthy relative that you weren't even aware of dies and you inherit money. So that kind of thing, Michael. They believe in random good luck, whereas wealthy people believe in opportunity luck.
Well, they also believe that opportunities are everywhere, don't they, Tom? While the poor people hope opportunity comes to them.
Yeah, so this is how it works, and this is the metaphor I like. So if you can imagine yourself standing in a forest, and what do you see? You see all the trees that are around you. So what do wealthy people do? Wealthy people pursue dreams. They engage in certain habits like daily self-improvement, and they do certain things that help them climb higher and higher up the mountain. And what happens when they get to the top of the mountain? They don't see a few trees. They see a forest of opportunities. And this is what separates the rich from the poor, is the poor only see what they can see right around them. The rich are standing on a higher platform, and they're looking out over the vast domain. They see just a forest instead of individual trees. There's a forest of opportunity out there.
You also discussed in your studies about the way the wealthy people look at risk and failure differently to the poor people. Last week we discussed a little bit about failure, but how do the successful people handle the concept of risk differently to the average person, Tom?
Well, so to a poor person, the idea of risk is to buy a lottery ticket or go to a casino and throw some money and cross your fingers. To a wealthy person, they look at risk a different way. They have a definition of risk that I call calculated risk. So you will never get wealthy unless you take risk, and you have to have the guts to take risk. But what wealthy people do is they take calculated risk. They do their homework. They study whatever it is that they're going to embark on. They become experts at it, and then they decide to take action, and they put their money and their time into something after they've done their homework. Whereas poor people, they just dive in. They're going in and they haven't even done the work to make sure that this is the right opportunity. Half of the times the wealthy people look at 10 opportunities and they'll pick one that works, that they think that they're going to invest in. So poor people just dive at any opportunity and they lose money.
I think part of the reason is, as you correctly say, that rich people recognize that a lot of the risk lies in themselves. While the average person thinks it lies in the world, in the market, in the cycles, in the economy, one of the big risks that they forget is the risk in them, the investor, the entrepreneur, the business person who hasn't got the knowledge, who hasn't got the network of people around them, who hasn't got the experience. So as you say, rich people do their homework first, and that way they mitigate the risk, not by changing the market, but by learning more, don't they, Tom?
They do. And here's the important thing. Then they dive in. And, you know,
They take action.
Whenever you embark on any new initiative, any project, any dream, you're not going to know 90% of what you need to know. But what the wealthy do is they try and learn as much as they can about whatever it is that they're passionate about, that they're going to invest their time and money in. And so it helps them when they do confront obstacles, hurdles. They've probably read about it, and they probably understand that, you know, how to get around it, but it's going to cost them time and money. But they have the background and the knowledge. They're equipped to deal with it, whereas the poor person, it blindsides them. They're like, whoa, I never saw that coming. The rich person has already read about it about 50 times. They just, you know, were hoping that it wouldn't happen to them, but it did happen, and now they knew about it, and now they're going to navigate around it.
Interestingly, Tom, last week you taught us also that the rich expect failure, so therefore they're not blindsided, as you say. That's what I was going to expect anyway.
Yeah, listen, one of the things I learned about these self-made millionaires is they've got their feet firmly planted in reality. And so they're going into something with the hope of being successful, but with the expectation that they probably will fail and lose money. Now, you might say, how can you carry two thoughts at one time? Well, there are two different thoughts. There's the thought, the vision, the dream, and the hope. And then there's the reality that, hey, this is not easy. Most people fail. I'm probably going to fail, but I'm going to do my homework, and I'm going to figure it out along the way as best I can. And those are the ones that end up succeeding the most often, Michael, because they've got the tools and the assets and the knowledge to deal with the obstacles that they confront.
Thanks, Tom. So in this series of videos, what we're trying to do is explain that if you want to become rich, if you want to become successful, you've got to understand your beliefs, which lead to your habits. You've got to understand where you've learned some of these beliefs, because most of them are unconscious. Most of them are happening at the subconscious level. So number one, you've got to recognize how you're thinking about money and about wealth. Number two, you've got to remove disempowering beliefs. Number three, we've got to replace them with empowering beliefs. And that's what we're going to get onto in future videos. But Tom, thanks for going through some of these beliefs. And next week, we're going to go through some more. Would that be okay?
I'd love it. I love doing this stuff, Michael. Thanks.
My pleasure, Tom. Thank you.